How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get excited, get those creative juices flowing, get that imagination all revved up, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Steranko. If you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He worked for Marvel, for DC. He did book illustrations. He's had a really wide and varied career for a long time. And I think his work is just really great and really fun too. So I'll leaf through a couple of these images. I really liked this one. I thought the page layout was really interesting. You've got like a whole backdrop, but then he splits it up and then he changes the color here, and then he's got this focal point of a really well rendered like robot centurion creature, and this is really interesting paths of action and layout and everything through there. Some really standout colors. And there's some more from some vintage Superman comics. And there's some work that he did for Indiana Jones. Who doesn't love Indiana Jones? You should. If you haven't seen it, just stop watching this and go watch Indiana Jones. All of them, except for the Shia LaBeouf. Except he seems like he's like saying like a lot. He seems very interesting now that he's sort of not in the spotlight as much anymore. Seems like he's doing some more interesting things. But this is not the Shia LaBeouf cast. This is animation time. But yeah, he's got some beautiful work. I really like some of his imaginative stuff for sure. And oh yeah, he was the basically the creative mind behind Nick Fury, who I'm sure all of you Avengers fans love. And this was kind of a tribute to Mobius, who, again, if you're not ingrained that I love Miyazaki, Mobius, and all things Conan, then you probably knew. So let's go ahead and take a look at a quote that I found of his from an interview that he did, and he said, "I was always less realistic than most people. I'm kind of a dreamer. I'm still a dreamer. I live in my own world. When I get up in the morning, go to bed at night, even while I'm sleeping, I'm thinking of fantastic things. I don't want to live the life that those people live out there. It's a dull life." And I think you kind of have to be a little bit that way if you're a creative person. I found the most interesting people that I either study or that I know in my life usually are kind of out there a little bit, at least in some regard, and they just think differently. And I think that's a very important aspect, and to perpetually be looking around you for things that can inspire you or how you can think differently about them. Anything that really taps into that imagination. And that's why every time when we start these things, I talk about it. You know, get your creativity on and get your imagination caps on, and then start with those things in mind. Start playing around in these fields, and that goes for I think any medium that you're using. You have to put those creative pants on or skirt or whatever you wear, shoes. Most everyone wears shoes, and get that imagination hat on. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation for today. This is the Woodie Jr. rig. If you're not familiar with what we'll be doing for the rest of the video, we give ourselves 48 frames. That's 2 seconds of animation. I go off and I find a different rig that I've never used before. It's a free rig for you guys to play around with, and we kind of go from there. A little bit of over the shoulder, hang out with me while I animate. A little bit of instruction or kind of talking through the process of why I'm doing things or how I'm doing things, or why I would do it differently, or any of that sort of stuff. But mainly the goal of these videos is to hopefully encourage you guys to continue down your path or on your journey, whatever creative journey that is, and hopefully to inspire you to go off and create something today. Yeah, that's right, today. You know, even if that means you stop watching right now and you go create something, that's the real goal of this stuff, is to really help foster creativity, and not to get in a slump or feel down about yourself or not be confident in your work or whatever, but really just go create. And if it's wonderful, it's wonderful, and if it sucks, then you at least spent some time learning something new. Chances are you'll have, at bare minimum, gleaned some more muscle memory in whatever medium you're using. So that being said, if you've been following along for the month of November, we've been doing Jumpvember, which is a jump animation every day for the month of November. And we're starting to have to get a little more creative having to do something different with their jump animations every day. And this is the Woodie Jr. rig. It's a free rig you can grab from Rocket Sky. I will have a link in the description below, as well as more stuff about Jim Steranko. If you guys want to find out more about him or check out some more of his beautiful illustration and comic book work. So let's go ahead and get in here. So what I was thinking for this one, what we can do differently is we do from a foot plant to a hand plant, or from a hand plant to a foot plant. We'll see which one. I think I want to go hands to feet. So let's start off with a more interesting storytelling pose here. At this point right now, it kind of reminds me of those robots from Castle in the Sky with the really long arms. So let's go ahead and I think this was the main controller. Let's flip it upside down and grab the feet. Now it'll be interesting because in order to really get the good plants, we're going to have to keep these in IK rather than FK, which means we're going to have to really track our arcs very well. Or try to do it as best as we can, which is going to be tough given that we try to do everything within an hour, so. But we'll figure it out. So let's get into a more interesting pose to start off. We got to keep our balance going here. Keep our feet over. Let's rotate them this way. Wonder why they're not sticking as much. Let's do a little bit of rotate. There we go. Get those feet in there. And let's go ahead and puff out the chest a little bit more. Brightness down. Over. Wonder why these aren't staying where they should be. Weird. Alright, well I guess we'll just work around it then. And let's try to get a better head pose here if we can. We have a neck controller here. Lift that up a little bit. Bring that down a little bit. Maybe rotate that out a little bit forward. It's really weird how the feet interact with that hip controller. Let's just zero this guy out here. We'll just use this one for now. Okay. Let's offset the hands. See, they seem to work pretty well. Feet are probably going to give us some issues as we go, but we'll work through it. And like I said, I always use a rig that I've never used before, so we get to have some fun challenges along the way. Because I think, at least when I was first learning animation, wasn't really any long form tutorials, and also nothing where they talked about, oh, I'm approaching a problem or an issue. It was just here's kind of a highlight reel of how I animated this shot without any rough spots or anything, which I tend to think is not as helpful for people who are just starting out, or for people who might get discouraged or anything. That's why I tend to not that, and also trying to put one of these out every day and then editing them would add a lot more time that I'd rather spend creating than editing, which you could say is a form of creation as well. But I personally, we're just trying to make some more interesting posing choices here with our hands, just so they're not place to start. Again, I'd like to do more at the feet, but I'm kind of leave them neutral right now, just until we lock. See how they work when we're animating them. And let's go ahead and we'll give a little bit of twist here. Just a little bit there, just to add some more variation. And let's also do a little bit of rotate Z here. And a little bit of rotate Z there. Just get a little bit of curvature here. Let's go pull that guy in a little bit more. Back. Kind of interesting choices how they have this rig laid out, but chances are they probably weren't expecting someone to animate like this. So we'll work with what we got. Yeah, I'm going to try and not do that then for right now, just because I don't know if we're going to see some more problems with the feet in the future. And again, once we've got the rest of the body working, we'll go in and we'll add some more variety and interest to the feet. I think we'll worry about the rest of it for right now. Okay, so not probably a super amazing storytelling pose, but it'll work for right now. And then as we see how it animates, I'm just going to narrow that down a little more. Then we can go in and add some more intrigue to our posing. Okay, just trying to get a good silhouette here. Maybe a little more rotate X there. It's fairly good. And then again, we'll do some more with the feet. So let's set our frame range. We'll go from 0 to 48 here. And we'll save our file. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for this one. And if you want more information, always check the description below, along with a link to a few books that I found are very, very helpful when first learning to animate. Okay. We'll go ahead and do another little pose here. We do a little bit push down. And a little bit down here. A little bit of rotate X. A little something with the IKFK. It's just not fully blended. Key that. So I want these to be fully planted on the ground here. Let's put the hips there. See, that should not affect the feet if they're IK. So let's go ahead and grab everything on the feet right now. I'd rather just keep them in FK than have them in this like mid where it's between IK and FK, but whatever. Let's continue on with what we got right now. Gotta use what we got. Let's just leave them there. I think I just might switch them back to what I had before. So let's see. At least then we're not getting something weird. Or maybe we are. See, they don't really stick there either. One second here. Okay, I'm just trying to guess this for a second here. So I just paused the recording and reverted back to the original file. It's still showing the same problem where I haven't done anything with this. This is just the downloaded file. And it's still showing the same thing. So I think that means we're going to have to maybe readjust with our idea. So I'm going to go back to the other file now. Just hold on a second. Alright, I only did a little bit of cutting there just so that you don't have to see that. So I think instead of doing what we were originally looking at before, let's just have him excuse me, do a little bit of just do a hand jump from one position to the next. So let's go ahead and delete that. And we'll go ahead and bring those back to 0. Actually, let's take what we have here, there, and forward. Bring this, and that way we can do as little on the. Oh, see, the hands get affected there too. See if we can still get something good out of this. Unfortunately, this rig's gonna be giving us a few problems here. I'm gonna switch these feet back to IK, so at least we get something out of them. Let's go push the feet forward. We're just gonna have to do a lot of individual keying on this stuff, but that's okay. funky stuff with the feet on this controller. Okay, well, let's get in here and let's tighten up our timing. We'll just try to make the best of what we can with what we got. So, let's grab everything here. We'll go to instead of 6. Bring that there. Delete that. And then we'll just cut this all by a lot of frames here. I think we need about an extra frame in between each side there. Let's keep this. It's the great mantra of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So we're going to have to do a lot of that in here. Because we've got some funky things going on, so we can't be too elaborate with this one. I want the hands to lead here, so I'll put them down about 21. And let's go ahead and drag them back here. Let's delete that. 17, we'll raise them up here. Let's see. Do this a little bit higher. Rotate them up a little bit there. Let's look at it now. Let's almost do it so that we got real slam in there. And let's move it one frame forward. It feels like it's a little too long at the end here. There we go. And this might be a little too much, so let's push this back a frame. Take what we have at 20 and make that our 19. Just so we have a little less. It feels a little better. Now let's hold them down a little bit more. Okay. Now let's check our translate Y here. Just try to make that arc a little bit better. Let's check on the other side as well. Vary them a little bit more too, so they're not mimicking so much. Let's look at it now. That feels a little better. Let's look at that rotate Z here. Let's vary it just a little bit. Let's see here. Leave with this, so let's see. see how the knee moves between there. I'm sure there's a controller that I'm just not seeing, but let's delete that. I'll overshoot a little bit more. So we go over. No. Let's look at it now. So we get this little undershoot, drag. Man, I feel like it's a little too long there, so let's check that now. Now, if only these knees were a little bit better. I'm getting some funky knee pops there. I feel like the feet work okay, but it's just those knees. Let's see how the feet. Okay. Sometimes it's good just not to get frustrated. So let's work on that. Okay. Let's cut out a frame here. Let's see if we can just change the stretch to 0. Key that. Maybe that's the controller that we're missing here. No. IK length 0. No, that's not it. That fix it? It's a little better. We don't have as much poppiness there. So let's watch that now. There we go. It's not perfect, but at least it's better. And if you didn't know what I was talking about, there was before when we were doing it, we were getting these knee pops that were like pat 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 pat. So you'd see a really quick flicker as the knee jutted out and minimized. And again, this is definitely not how ideally I would want the change of shape to be, but I think sometimes for the sake of trying to get this done in an hour with you guys, we'll go with it. I think the path of action is fairly good. The movement there. Okay, and let's do a little bit feels a little better. So you've got, let's change the shape here a little more too. Let's drag that a little bit more. Let's look at it now. Okay. So you can crank up the drag a little bit more here. So it should be a little better. But we get that kind of change of shape in the chest there. Okay. This just slammed down a little bit more, so let's bring it up even higher. Again, we want to try and keep our silhouette clean here. Let's have a little more drag there. Let's see now. let's give us about 4 more frames to get there, so that'll be 52. Okay, take what we have at 48, bring that up to 52. Let's look at that now. Okay, let's take one of these feet. Let's delay it a frame here. Just to get some more variety in here. Play with our posing. Let's see it now. Okay, let's look at this guy. And again, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of cleanup and a little bit of like favoring stuff so that we don't have 2 feet that feel exactly the same. We get a little more variety there. Let's go and look at that now. Okay, and let's see if there's a toe roll on here as well. Set that. Let's look at toe wiggle probably. Drag there. Let's see. And again, apologies for the breaking on that, but I do not know what controller is causing that to happen here, so that's kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. We'll work through it. Drag it this way. And back. Up. And down. Okay. So let's look at what we have here and clean up this. We got a bunch of erroneous keys, so let's just delete those. Let's do a little bit of movement there. Let's check it out. Actually works pretty well. I'll probably tone it down a little bit more. I really like how much they swing forward here, so I want to make sure I keep that one. Let's tone down the 2 right before it. And also, let's take this one and delay it a frame. Let toe wiggle so we don't get the same thing happening throughout. Okay, let's look at the head here and see if we can get a little bit of drag in the neck. What we haven't done for a while is save our file, so let's go ahead and do that. Drag it here. Clump it in there. Okay, let's look at that now, see how that feels. I feel like this one is probably a little too much, so let's tone that down. I feel like the bulk of that's pretty good though. And this one feels like it's a little too much, so let's tone that down. Let's tone that down a little bit. do just a little bit of it. Probably exaggerate this one a little bit more. And then how I get to pretty close to where we want it here. This might be a little too much. That feels better. Still, that one's probably a little too much too. That feels better. Okay, go ahead and save our file again. Let's do some fingers. Grab everything here. Just do a micro amount of movement there, just so there's something. Probably just so that they don't pixel lock there. Set that, set that. We need to grab these tips here. Keep them flat. There. Better solid. They're peeling off the ground here. So we got again, let's keep that. Let's do a little bit of dribble. Make sure I'm grabbing the right things here, and the other hand controller is selected there. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's do a little bit of drag there. More drag here. Start lifting up there. Set that, maybe 20. So we go. We slide them down. Let's look at it now. Feels better. Let's make sure that we're not intersecting the head there. I'm going to take what we have at 3 and put that at 52. Yeah, I want to make sure that we delete everything in there so we still get a little bit of movement there on the fingers. Okay, go ahead and save our file again, and let's this one 1 frame sooner because it's just feeling a little too slow. That's coming down. So let's take everything here. Give me 1 frame sooner. Let's see it now because I still want that to feel like it's heavy. Okay, and let's go ahead and approach the other hand now. So go ahead and grab. Actually, let's look at that plant off here. Make sure we're grabbing the right controllers. And I'll go and set that at 11. Actually, let's do a little bit of micro movement again. And split that even more. So we've got that pixel lock. Might need to do a little more of that. See it now. Too much. Set that. And then let's go ahead and raise that up a little bit. Rotate X there, keep it kind of flat. Raise that up a little bit. And set that. And we're going to start doing a little bit of drag there. Drag here. Lift it up here. I'll take my hand 8 and bring it back. Okay. So there's the basic movement that we've got. A little bit of drag and plant. And let's go ahead and grab a mid tip here on this one. Delay it a frame. Tip here, I'll delay it a frame as well. That's it now. And let's take the landing and we'll push it 1 frame forward on all of them here. So we can still get that nice slap. We'll probably do a little bit more here on this guy. And let's look at the index finger a little bit more here. Delete that. And delete that. And we'll grab everything and we'll push it 1 frame closer. Okay, let's look at it here. It feels pretty good. And let's look at that thumb. Okay, so let's grab everything we got on the thumb. And just a little micro movement again. Barely anything there. Delete that. Let's see, here we go. And hold that. And drag it back there a little bit. And bring that there. Lift it up there. And slap it down. And I'll get a little bit of micro movement in from the beginning as well. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Feels a lot better. Okay. And I'm pretty sure we've gone past an hour, if not more, already on this love to be able to really lock those feet in a little bit tighter, especially with the knees and the tips of the feet. But unfortunately, seems like I'd have to do at least a bit more research on the rig, if not go in and re-rig the feet myself. So if you guys ended up using this rig, sorry about the noise in the background. Looks like there's doing some neighbors are doing some lawn care over there. But definitely, thanks for the thumbs up, thanks for the likes, thanks for the subscribes. If you guys are watching this, you are the creative future. Let's take a look back at where we started. We were looking at the beautiful work of Jim Steranko, and he said, I was always less realistic than most people. I'm kind of a dreamer. I'm still a dreamer. I live in my own world. When I get up in the morning, go to bed at night, even while I'm sleeping, I'm thinking of fantastic things. I don't want to live the life that those people live out there. It's a dull life. So don't live a dull life. Always be thinking of fantastic things. Always be dreaming. Keep pushing yourself. Keep pushing that imagination. If you learned something in this one, definitely let me know in the comments below. If you disagree with me or would have approached this in a different way, always welcome that stuff too. It gives anything that boosts the creative mind and thinking outside the box. I'm a huge fan of. So keep pursuing your dreams, keep going down your journey, and I think that'll do it for today because there's too much noise in the background. Thank you, lawn guys, you're awesome, and yeah, we will see you. I love you lots, guys, for some more animation tomorrow.